Hello, everyone.
Hello. How are you?
Hello, my friends. How
I'm
are
very
you
well,
guys
thank
doing
you.
today?
Very good, very good. I have electricity today, so I have lights, which is quite useful.
Well, we can actually see Mr. J today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yesterday it was a bit in the dark, but there we go. So, well, I think this is now our fourth live stream.
Yes. Episode 4.
Episode
Yes,
4.
sir. And now, today we are on Twitch as well. So,
Not only that, I think
One more.
Facebook as well.
Facebook as well.
Facebook.
Of course. Yeah. So, 3 platforms today. As always, really glad to be here, guys. Where shall we start?
So Groovy, you want to get one of your charts up on the screen? We can get going. We get into these charts.
Of course, man.
Let's
Let's start as always with some updates on the markets. First, starting with BTC, of course, as always. Today we had a kind of bullish day, actually. We had some upside on this daily candle. We just closed the daily, actually, 9 minutes ago. So, yeah, let me just fix something here. All right. And yeah, so let's see. I had pre-charted some ranges here to make things easier. First thing is our upper range, still there, the 41k level. Obviously, that's the major resistance area that we have to retake in the future. And we have the bottom range as well, 30k, which we tested a few times now, and we have the middle range. The middle range, I'm gonna take the opportunity here, and because some people were asking on our Discord actually about the Fibonacci levels, and I'm gonna take the opportunity to make some Fibonacci levels here, because for this move that we have here, it's very important, and we see some very confluent levels with the Fibonacci tool. So for anyone who doesn't know, we have the Fibonacci tool on TradingView here. On the left panel here, there's the third tool where here you can actually see there's the Fib retracement, it's called. So you can actually grab this tool, and we are gonna actually make this retracement from this move right here. So usually we grab the swing low from a point in time, and so in this case this one, and we draw it all the way up to the swing high of that move as well. I have a different style here. Let me just reset this for you guys. I have a few templates. So as you guys can see, we drew the Fibonacci tool from this swing low right here, this point, all the way up to this level, all the way up here. So this gives us a few lines that we can see on the chart. I'm gonna actually make them a little better for you guys to see. The levels line here. And these are the lines. So basically, we had a few confluence points that we are seeing here on the price. And the obvious one, the most important one from the Fibonacci retracement, is the 618 level. And as you guys can see, it's in red here on my chart. And this level, it comes, it's being tested right now actually by the price. So the 618 level has confluence with this move here, this point, and for these areas as well. So we charted it in the past live streams as well. We are testing it right now. We tried to get above this in the last daily candle, so a few minutes ago, a few hours ago, and we couldn't just yet. So we are kind of getting rejected by this level right now. Still have to see how it plays out for the next couple hours. But this is BTC. Basically, we are in the middle range that I was talking about with you guys. I'm actually gonna draw this here. So yeah, this is basically the middle range for us, the 35k level. Very important as well if we're gonna actually reach the 41, 42k. There's dogs on the background. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but
Doggy.
but yeah, this is basically Bitcoin for you guys. We have the all the our three ranges here, and we can work off that. But looking at Ethereum now, just gonna have a quick look on it. We also have a few areas of significance here. Obviously, we have the 2K level as our big resistance point right now. As you guys can see as well, we are testing it. We are having a little trouble getting above this for the moment. Um, we are actually right at the level here. If I move this line to the exact point. So yeah, I would like for us to actually get some volume and move up here. Probably retest it as well and move up to the bigger levels here, 2500, 2400. But the current move, I think, would be the to retake the 2K level on the next few hours. So yeah, that's basically Ethereum and BTC for you guys. Sterling, I think you had a few charts as well, right? That you
Yeah.
wanted to
Yes.
show.
Let me get my screen up here. Give me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second.
No problem, man. We had some bullish news as well for Bitcoin that happened today. We're gonna talk about that really soon as well.
All right. Awesome. So is my chart viewable right now? Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Do you guys see it? All
Yes,
right.
it is.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to point out something that I was seeing for Ethereum. You know, after we fell through that 200 daily EMA right here, as you can see, this 200 daily EMA, we fell through yesterday or 2 days ago, and then we bottomed out, found support from local low support levels from previously in late May, right? So all I wanted to show you guys was we are currently testing that 200 daily EMA, seeing if we could break above it. But something that's interesting right now is the fact that this could be the portion of this action between these two vertical lines on my chart could be forming a bullish divergence right here. So as you can see, guys, on this momentum oscillator, this indicator is called the ADO, ascending declining oscillator, and it's very interesting on the 4-hour chart and the 1-day chart for pointing out divergences. And currently I'm using it on the 1-day chart. I love to use it on the 1-day and 4-hour chart, but it's really good for finding some and detecting divergences. So what we have here is during this leg of price action from May 30th down to this, from this low down to this low on June 22nd, we made lower lows on the price action. Now we're bouncing. And during that same time, we made higher lows on this momentum oscillator. So as you can see, it is straying from the price action, and we are seeing some bullish divergence because the sellers are getting weakened. So as we went lower on the price, the momentum oscillator said, no, the buyers are going to start winning soon. And as you could see, this bounce right here that we got off of this local support level, which is indicated by this green rectangle that we have on my screen right here, we saw a bounce right there, and it's at the same level that we actually bounced right here on May 23rd. And it's looking like a double bottom price structure forming. And just that bounce is really interesting because if we can manage to break above this 200 EMA, and we have been sitting above it from the majority of the day. We've been sitting right above. We could get this candle to print above this 200 daily EMA. That will be very interesting to keep an eye on. So just a bullish divergence forming on the Ethereum daily chart I wanted to point out. And also, if we look at link to BTC, I've been looking at a very interesting chart for link to BTC. And let me just get rid of this indicator. But what we're seeing is, now, before I get into this chart, this is the link to BTC chart, meaning that this is how much Chainlink is worth in Bitcoin value, and meaning how much you could trade your Chainlink for Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people do trade this market, and the TA in this market is totally valid, and you could definitely do TA on these charts, and I highly recommend getting into those charts and looking at them for your spot trades. But on this chart right here, on this daily chart, we have a symmetrical triangle forming for Chainlink to Bitcoin. And as you can see, guys, we're getting really close to the apex of that triangle. And where we manage to break out of this triangle, if we manage to break out to the upside, we will also be taking the 21 daily EMA, which is this white ribbon. We will also be reclaiming that, and we could possibly be reclaiming 200 daily EMA. And the target for this trade setup is actually 106,000 Satoshi, or 0.0016, 0.00106 Bitcoin. Now, that, considering right now Chainlink is at 55,000 Satoshi, if this target is 100,000 Satoshi, that's a pretty good high risk to reward ratio. It's a pretty good risk to reward ratio, considering that in this trade setup in particular, of what I'm looking at is, if we somehow break this triangle or fake out, and we break out just a little bit to the upside from this triangle, but then we break back down, I know that I would definitely not be in the trade anymore if we went back into this triangle, or especially if we broke out, bounced on the 21 daily EMA, and then fell back into the triangle. I would certainly not want to be in that trade anymore. However, if I did see that we broke out to the upside, the reward possible for this trade setup is very high. As you can see, guys, it's almost 100 times.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's just something I was seeing in the charts. And I also wanted to talk about what was it? The two brothers from
Yeah,
Nigeria.
that exactly.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I wanted to actually
Yeah.
bring something into that discussion that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
About risk to reward ratios. And this is something that I was tweeting about today as well. And a big thing in trading is obviously your risk to reward and managing your risk during a trade, right? And I actually, if I can actually bring up my chart here, you can keep the cams as well if you can.
Absolutely.
But yeah, something that is really interesting, and I was talking about, is this little strategy that I have for managing risk and managing reward. So basically, it may sound a little obvious, but it's basically buying at support and selling at resistance. And when I say this, it might sound a little obvious. Obviously, you should do that, but I see a lot of people who just buy randomly. And something that I think is interesting is that, let's say, let me just zoom in on this chart so you guys can have a clear picture. And I'm gonna think this little line of support here. So let's say you want to make a trade on BTC, and everything you are seeing is this candle here, this with the big wick to the downside. And you want to make a trade, you want to long BTC, and you see that the price is just reaching for the support level. So obviously what you do is you buy at support. That's one of the best decisions that you can make, in my opinion. you buy at support. And what is your risk to reward ratio here? So basically, if your trade goes sideways and it happens to close the daily in this point right here, so below support, let's say the candle closed in the wrong direction and it invalidated your trade. Uh, you lost, let's say, 1.8% on this move, but your reward ratio, if your trade actually goes in the right direction, is potentially infinite because you have all of this upside for you. So let's say you longed in this support, you would have made like 17% right now. So this is what I mean when I talk about risk to reward ratio, and I found very interesting that you mentioned that in your chart as well. So yeah, this is a very good strategy that you guys can apply. Um, and obviously, daily closes and 4-hour closes are very relevant in this case. So yeah, it's very good for you actually to wait for the candle close and see if that invalidates or not your trade.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely say, guys, just because you're currently sitting in the same on the current 4-hour candle, let's say we're breaking out. If it's on the current 4-hour candle, don't trade it until the next 4-hour candle does a retest of some confluent level of support, because that could end up just being a wick to the upside that broke out, but then we
Exactly.
get rejected. And that's why you got to wait for your confirmation, guys. Always wait for confirmation. You know, I remember when us guys started training together, something that I always heard Groovy say was, "I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
confirmation." So I was like, okay, maybe he's onto something. I'm just gonna wait to see what that confirmation is. And then I realized it was just, you know, when the breakout happens, that's great, but wait for the retest, guys, because, you know, have you guys seen a candle wick? You've seen some of the wicks in crypto markets. Some of these wicks are huge. The crypto markets are very volatile, and something could happen in a very short amount of time. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the benefit of buying at having clear levels drawn in your chart. So this helps you a lot with managing your risk as well. And I remember as well, we were kind of annoying sometimes because people were talking like, "Oh, should I go in now? Should I go in now?" And like I always talk like, "Wait for confirmation, man. Don't rush things."
Don't jump the gun just yet. You know, I love the enthusiasm, but still, you don't want to lose all your money
Yeah.
just because you thought the breakout happened. I mean, we saw it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I can show it on my chart right now. We saw what happened with Bitcoin recently. Let me just get it on my chart real quick.
Yep.
Bear with me, guys. So what I'm about to refer to is basically Bitcoin going right above a trend line on a breakout.
Yeah.
And we touch 5
Sorry
times.
for interrupting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sterling. Yeah, you can. I think my chart is still up, so you
You
can
have the
quickly
trend
put it
line,
on.
don't you? Yeah. All right, so you know what trend line I'm talking about.
Yeah. So no, if you want to show it, that's fine. You can
Oh, okay.
move
So
your
yeah,
chart to
I
be.
have it already.
Yeah.
It's up. So like we'll do that. That's fine.
Yep. There we
So
go.
this is my crazy chart at the moment, but I just wanted to show you guys. You know, if you guys can see this trend line, this blue trend line, this teal trend line going down my screen. You know, we touched it 5 times since May 21st. We touched it 5 times on a descending resistance level as a descending resistance line along. And that was showing you confluence with the 21 daily EMA, which is this white ribbon. And also it was showing you confluence with the ribbons on the Ichimoku cloud, but I'll get into that in a second. But just guys, when we finally broke out from this trend line and we broke out from the 21 EMA, we went up and we get rejected from the 100 daily EMA. So if I was trading that, if we broke out from a structure like this, if it was really the breakout, I would be very happy to trade that on the retest of a confluent level of support. But you have to watch candlestick price action, because you have to judge whether that wick was showing you a high level of rejection or it was just a steady level of resistance that we just couldn't break through. Because as you can see here, guys, when we finally met that 200 daily EMA ribbon after we broke out, we were just getting some slow resistance, but then we went down, tested some support, and then as you can see, we shot up. But this huge wick right here on this candle, on this 4-hour candle, this huge wick to the upside is showing you that there was a high level of rejection in that area, and the price just didn't like to go up there anymore. And that should have let you know that when we go back down, that retest that you might see on that 21-day EMA, thinking, okay, this is the bounce after the breakout. Now I can long. Now I could accumulate. Okay, well, you got to consider that that huge wick was telling you that we got rejected hard. So this bounce that you see down here off a confluent level of support might not be as valid. And then as you can see, we did bounce. We get rejected from a fib level of a retracement, which I'll get into in a second. And then we go back under our trend line and we go to lows that we haven't seen since before January, actually. You know, we went all the way down to 28.8, 28.7 on some charts. So it's something to keep in mind. Like, just, you know, don't keep your emotions in check when you're trading the breakout. You know, that's why, you know, trading Ichimoku, if I could just go back to a chart with less drawings on it, so I could just talk a little bit about Ichimoku strategy. Because I personally am a huge fan of Ichimoku strategy. And, you know, guys, when you're trading with Ichimoku, you will usually, if you're trading Ichimoku properly, you will usually end up trading the breakout properly. Because as you can see here, guys, if I make that trend line that we were looking at previously from this high right here on May 20th, and then we bring it down, so we saw that we touched it 4 times until we broke out. We touched it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then we go down, find support, and then break out. So the thing is, if you're trading Ichimoku properly, you would have been trading the breakout properly. But as you can see, guys, when we broke out, we were not above any green cloud still. We were just above the ribbons of the Ichimoku cloud and the red cloud. So what I'm saying is, when you're trading Ichimoku cloud, you want to be above the green cloud. For the price action, wants to be above this green cloud and have the ribbons of the Ichimoku be supporting the price action. Now, if that was the case and we were above the green cloud, and also it was right after we broke out, we probably would have been able to hold support there much better, considering if you go looking back at 4-hour charts for Bitcoin using Ichimoku, you will see that whenever we're actually above the green cloud after a breakout, we tend to hold that for quite some time, and you can make some crazy gains with it. You know, I could show you guys real quick. I'll just show you an example. But guys, like, think about this time in February, because I love looking at this event right here. When we broke above the 21 daily EMA, right? Here you could have said, okay, this is starting to look bullish. We're going up a lot, right? And we're above. We just broke above the red Ichimoku cloud, but technically you're not above the green Ichimoku cloud yet. You're just getting support from the ribbons. You're on your way above that green Ichimoku cloud. But see, as we get up here, it's looking so bullish. You just want to go long, but see, we dump and we've retest the ribbons, and now you're really above the green Ichimoku cloud. And now, even if you went long over here, you could have long this entire leg of price action. So, you know, guys, that's why I say, yeah, trade the breakout, learn how to trade the breakout, but also use other things to minimize your risk, because break and fake outs happen all the time, and shakeouts, they all go down in trading. So
yeah, and retests as well, man. Trade the retests. The retests are, as always, sometimes we fail, but if you buy at exactly the point of the retest, your risk to reward ratio as well, it's your losses will be very minimal if we happen to close below it, right? But yeah,
I honestly think, though, like, that's kind of that takes experience to learn how to trade the retest properly. You know,
Exactly.
I would like to point out that's the first time I've heard Mr. Sterling refer to the indicator by its correct name, which you will often hear that he doesn't when he's inside our Discord. Would you like to give your alternative name for this indicator, Mr. Sterling?
You know what, man? That you're really asking for a lot there. But you know what? I think I'll do it. I'll do the honor and actually debut the actual secret name of the Ichimoku cloud indicator. So guys, if we were so this is the real deal, okay, guys? So if you want to get to the nitty-gritty of the Ichimoku cloud, we'll look at it right here. Now let me just bring my chart maximized so we can just do this real quick. And you know, if you guys join our community, you will get these kind of secrets more in depth. Absolutely, you know, we will talk all about the fire-breathing dragon.
The fire-breathing dragon. There we go.
I don't know. Maybe if you're just looking at this cloud right now, you should know what I'm talking about. You know, you could put two and two together. But if I just take off this price action with that Ichimoku cloud, the green cloud I refer to as the green dragon. Okay, call it the green dragon because it's shaped like a dragon's head that's breathing out fire, which is this red cloud. So I call it the fire-breathing dragon. Now, the strategy behind it is I tend to use it on the 3-hour chart, by the way. But if we could just talk about it real quick, you know, I trust me, I love talking about it. I just don't want to make people
I know you do. I know you do. That's why I said you do. Because if people join our Discord, they're going to wonder what the heck a fire-breathing dragon is all about. So you might as well release the cat out of the bag, let's say. Yeah, tell the world now.
Talk a little bit about it. Okay. But so as you can see, guys, this green dragon, I refer to it as the green dragon. This green cloud. I'm sorry, I refer to it as the green dragon. Okay, and it's breathing out fire, as you can see. Now, the idea behind trading using those terms, in my head, okay, I just I came up with this, over trading for a few years and just trading the last year with these guys. We started talking about it and referring to stuff with crazy names, and it just happens. So we call it the fire-breathing dragon, which is this green dragon breathing fire. Now, the idea behind it is when the price is above the green cloud, you're riding the cloud. But when the dragon gets angry and he starts breathing fire, you get off the cloud because the price is gonna dump. Because the when you're like above here, let's say when we were like right here on the price action, right? When you were right there on the price action, guess what? The cloud was breathing fire. The dragon was breathing fire, indicating that the dragon was no longer happy. So when it starts doing that, you want to get off because on the 3-hour chart, it usually means that it's about to dump. And I could show you many charts with that example and many examples here on this chart where once the cloud starts breathing fire, once that dragon starts breathing fire, it dumps. And like, I love this example particularly with Vechain to Bitcoin on this Binance chart. If I just go back in time a little bit and we get this on the daily. Now, I made this chart community on Twitter and all that and Discord. But basically what happened here on Vechain, I'm currently looking at the events that took place for Vechain in the summer of 2020. As you can see, guys, on July 9th, we started this rejection and started trading into this descending triangle. And this is the Vechain to BTC chart. And you guys know during this last alt season, Vechain saw some incredible gains. Now, once we started trading into this descending triangle, we fell off of the green dragon. And now once this green cloud was breathing fire, we could have called that and got off the dragon. But for the sake of this chart, I wanted to just talk about this chart a little bit because it's very interesting. We traded into this descending triangle, and then we eventually broke out to the upside. Now, what's really cool about that is when we broke out to the upside, we were breaking through the Ichimoku cloud as well. And if I put my EMA ribbons on, we were also reclaiming eventually that 200 and 21 daily EMA ribbon. Now, with that said, that breakout was significant because this is the daily chart. We're talking about months of being under the green dragon and under the fire of the fire breathing dragon, and being in this falling triangle, in this descending triangle, and we finally break out. So that took a long time and a lot of work and a lot of patience for Vechain to be able to break out of that. But when we did, we not only claimed a new green cloud, a new green dragon, and we reclaimed that 200 daily EMA and the 21 daily EMA. And then we eventually traded up into this parabolic curve, as you can see here. This is literally a parabolic curve. Now, let me take off my indicators for a second, because what happened next is crazy, and this is where we're at right now. All right. So if we take a look right here, we went up to new highs after we broke out of this parabolic curve. We broke from that all high that we saw in July 2020, above that all-time high after getting jumped off of this parabolic curve, and we went to an all-time high of roughly 470 Satoshi. And we saw Vechain at around 47 Satoshi a year ago. So we went to an all-time high of 470 Satoshis. So that's incredible gains right there for Vechain. And then guess what? We did fall during this last little dip that we're seeing in the crypto market since April and May, but we're literally finding support, guys, right on that previous all-time high that we were seeing in July 2020. So we're flipping in that resistance from that all-time high into now support. And if we could hold this support, because right under that price action is that 200 daily EMA, and we're bouncing right of it. So this is definitely something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, a lot of confluence there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. Let's talk about today's price action a little more. And so, of course, we went all the way up to 35K on BTC today.
Real quick, Groovy, I think our buddy Alemi just popped in and said, "Hey, this is our buddy from the community, and we love you,
Hey,
Alemi.
Alemi.
Thank you for stopping by."
Thank you so much, man.
He's a funny guy. I love that guy. Anyways, sorry for cutting off, Groovy.
No problem, man. Alemi.
Yeah.
Hello, man.
Yeah.
Glad to have you here as well. So yeah, talking about what's up with the price today, and we had quite a nice pump today on the price. And just so you guys keep updated, we are still testing this middle range 618 level resistance area. But what actually triggered this kind of pump today? And we have some very interesting news on BTC. Actually, I gathered some things over here that we can talk about. The first one would be this, and obviously South America strikes again. Very good things happening here, and now this article from Cointelegraph says Bitcoin hits 35K after Paraguay proposes BTC bill. So one more country after El Salvador and Brazil here with the ETF. Now Paraguay actually proposing some things as well. And they talk about here that lawmakers in Paraguay plan to present a bill to make BTC legal tender on the country. And another point here on the article, they say the cryptocurrency fear and greed index still indicates a sentiment of extreme fear. But this is changing slowly, especially with these kinds of news being made and adoption slowly rising in countries. And they say here that Bitcoin's rising open interest is a sign that the current corrective phase may have ended. Obviously, we take all information with a grain of salt, but yeah, this is very bullish news as always, with crypto being actually adopted. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's huge.
I think this is coming off the back of what we saw from El Salvador as well. I think we're going to get a few other countries hopefully pop up and start jumping in. And although it's going to be, I think, smaller countries in the beginning, once enough of those come together, it would be quite interesting to see what other countries join in. And I don't know how true it is, so I will make sure that I say that before I say it. But I read an article where someone was suggesting that between these Bitcoin countries that will accept it as legal tender, a lot of these individuals could join together and create a very special residency permit that essentially allows some freedom of movement between those countries if you're involved in Bitcoin companies or entities that are set up within those countries as well. So like almost a decentralized residency permit as well, which is quite cool because
Imagine how great, man.
Yeah. El Salvador have issued the residency permit for 3BTC anyhow. But if you get another couple of countries join in on that, and you can have like almost a decentralized residency permit where you can move freely between those countries. That could be quite something, eh?
Yeah, imagine the possibilities. If we're talking about it, these kinds of things today, with how the space is still like while the space is still so young for especially for national adoption in some countries. Imagine in the future what it could bring for possibilities. So yeah, it's very interesting, man. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
but it's sorry.
Sorry, I was cut you off there. I was going to say, have we got? You might have mentioned it, and I might have accidentally missed it. But have we got a sort of time frame from when they're looking at putting this in place from the article you're reading?
Well, I don't think this tweet here from this person says that they might do it between like July 14th, but I don't know if it's a set date for it happening. We gotta wait and see for a official statement from the country. But yeah, man, I think July 14th is
A day to watch.
exactly.
Keep an eye on it.
Yep. But of course, there's not only good news happening. As Sterling mentioned, we had another case of vanishing from people, allegedly, but it's not really confirmed yet. But we see here on this article that $3.6 billion in BTC vanishes in quote unquote hack, along with owners of South African crypto platform.
Yeah.
So the owners got hacked as well, and they got disappeared, or the owners did the hack.
Yeah, that's that is a good question,
So,
actually.
it was basically these brothers, these brothers from South Africa, they basically vanished with around $3.6 billion, of their investment into the platform. It's basically it's basically a crypto investment platform that you can go and invest in crypto, and basically these brothers just took the money and ran. And we've seen that happen. We talked about it with Turkey, the exchange.x in Turkey, where the CEO just vanished with all the funds of the exchange, all the exchange's liquidity. And we're seeing the same thing apparently with these two brothers. I mean, $3.6 billion is a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, yeah, you certainly have a fun weekend with that, can't you?
Yeah.
So let's have a little look at this article then. I think is Groovy got this up. Let's see what's going on.
They say around 69,000 BTC has vanished from a South American investment platform, along with two brothers who owned the crypto firm. So I think they got hacked as well. Probably they got, I don't know, but it's interesting that they got hijacked along with the BTC. But although the facts are yet to be proven in court, if it turns out to be an exit scam rather than a hack, it would be the biggest in history, according to Bloomberg.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is some big stuff. And they talk here about the attorneys as well. They say attorneys alleges that the brothers transferred the 69,000 BTC, which is now worth 2.2 billion after the recent price tumble, from Aficrypt's accounts and clients' wallets, and subjected the funds to various dark web tumblers and mixers, resulting in severe fragmentation to make the funds untraceable. So that appears to have some shady stuff going on. But yeah, and this brings up the discussion as well for smart regulations, right? And we were talking about it earlier as well. How do you actually prevent this from happening, and how do you actually catch people who work in such dangerous ways with crypto? And we are seeing it a lot. Yeah, abusive ways.
Yeah.
So right now, what countries are doing here is they are basically banning it as a whole and kind of avoiding crypto as a whole as well. But I actually tweeted this earlier today because, in my opinion, personally, I think that banning something is a very lazy way of dealing with that.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is lazy. I think we've got a Lemmy here as well asking a couple of questions in there.
Yeah. He basically asked, how did they run off with the money in Monero, or because BTC can be tracked and other crypto can be tracked, or was it in just cash? Well, I don't want to give anybody some like ideas, but I don't know. Mr. Yarwood could probably give some input on this absolutely too. But I mean, Monero is probably one of the only real private coins that he could run off with, privacy coins besides Zcash. We got Monero, Zcash, and then we had Verge from back in the day. I remember Verge was the thing. I don't know what's going on with it now, but apparently,
Lemmy's just said we might as well ban USD.
Yeah.
True. Absolutely.
With that logic, yeah. I mean, are you just gonna ban guys because they ran off with a bunch of money? But you want to ban the money?
I've always said. Now I'm going to be very careful here to explain this very carefully, but to have some decentralized regulation. So how that could work is you could have something like the biggest trustworthy exchanges come together and form like a sort of regulator in a sense, that could regulate themselves, where it requires for a considerable amount of money like that to move. It requires another safety partner to verify that transaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously we don't really want governments regulating it, but I think it could be regulated within the industry. And obviously exchanges or investment platforms would sign up to something like that. and then they'd get, registered and approved by the commission or the entity that's looking after it all, just to monitor who exactly is opening these platforms, and to make it a little bit harder for people to get a sort of identity of trust. I don't exactly know how it would work. It's a little bit more complicated than just me coming up with an idea, but I do think that the industry itself could come together and sort of provide a little bit more internal decentralized regulation, rather than just having, crypto companies pop up all over the place that have the ability to run off. Because we're not talking about a couple of $100. We're talking about $3.6 billion.
Yeah.
Dollars. That is a lot of money.
Yeah, man, it is.
So Alemi actually mentioned what happened with Ethereum in 2017, and I think you were talking about the cryptocurrency scammers, right? Who okay, so they are blocking me, all right? But
who's blocking you?
No, yeah, I tried to get the article going with from the 2017. But yeah, so basically, we had a kind of a big scam as well in 2017. You're right, Alemi. But answering your other question as well about how did they actually do it? So the article says here that they subjected the funds to various dark web tumblers and mixers, and it resulted in severe fragmentation, and they did that to make the funds untraceable. So I think there are ways to do that through the dark web and stuff. So that's basically, I guess that's how they do that. They did that because they always they are as saying here as well that the brothers have been unreachable.
Well, they got hacked. They disappeared, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they went to the dark web as well. Actually,
they're inside it, floating around.
But yeah, it's still a tricky thing to actually manage to regulate these kinds of things, especially with the dark web and stuff. But I think we can do that in a smart way in the future, and for us to actually stop people from doing it.
Unless the problem is, unless they set up their investment platform from the very, very, very beginning to do this, I struggle with the concept of this. Like the guy that ran off with the Turkish exchange. Sorry. So, he would have provided his identity in order to open a company. He's obviously exposed himself with the evidence of being involved in it all, and then he runs away with the huge amount of money that is too big just to deposit in your local bank account. I think if you nip into the bank and try and pop in 3.6 billion, they might ask you a couple of questions. So
exactly, yeah.
Is it really worth it?
Exactly.
Because they're just going to hide for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to hide in a bunker.
continuously pay people bribes, and these bribes are not going to be little bribes. If someone knows you've got 3.6 billion, they're going to want more than $150 and an ice cream to not tell anyone where you are.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe they know something that we don't know. I don't want to get into conspiracies, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a choice, and they're probably gonna have to deal with the consequences. But yeah, moving on. Obviously, we gotta talk about some China FUD as well. As always.
I think just before that, if we can just wait for 2 seconds, I think Alemi asked it earlier, and I don't know whether I think he asked if there was anything on ADA. We had
ADA.
Yeah, I just see that in the messages there. He was asking if we had any any news on ADA? Do you have a chart, Groovy, that you could flick to?
Yeah, I can chart some ADA right here. Oh, looks like we're getting rejected on BTC for a bit. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Let me open the chart for ADA. Sterling, if you can have some news going for ADA later. I don't I don't know if there's I haven't been looking at ADA so much. I know that the smart contracts are coming very soon. But the details of some recent news, I haven't really looked at that. But yeah, so looking at the TA for ADA, actually, we have been having a couple of bullish daily candles for ADA, and obviously we have some charts, some levels here at this range. First of all, which is the $1.48. I talked about it yesterday as well, and we are almost there for now. But right now we are getting some resistance from this area, and this is also a relevant area for us on this level. We could draw it like this. Let me actually get rid of this for now. And because this, if you guys look closely here, we had touches on this area and here as well. We had some reactions to this level, and obviously we found support previously on it. Here, this is actually relevant, a little more relevant because it's more recent, and obviously we had this as well. So this is a very major area for Cardano that we are testing right now, similarly to BTC and Ethereum as well. Um, all three of the coins are facing some resistance now. In the last daily candle, we tried to test it, couldn't really manage to get above it, and right now we are facing a little bit of downward momentum along with BTC. Support levels to watch for ADA. Obviously, we have this this recent move to the downside that we had. So I can draw a box here as well, and we can go from this point all the way to here. So if you look here, this area and this cluster here as well, and then for a do or die level kind of bottom range would be this one, which is the 96 cents level. So yeah, we have some pretty clear levels as well for ADA here. First watch in the next couple of days. If we actually get rejected pretty hard from this level, I would be assuming that we go back to these levels here, and then either we lose this level once again and come back, or we bounce from it again and test the current level once again and probably break above it.
Understand.
So yeah, this is ADA for now. Yeah, very clear chart. I try to keep things as clean as possible, and I think this is easier for us to understand.
Okay, guys,
yeah.
just bear with me a second. I think we've got one of these weird people in our chat messages here. Let's try and get rid of them.
Yep. So this is also a opportunity for me to talk about and warn you guys about scams in the comments.
Yeah.
Because there's this very common scam where people actually talk about telegram of someone who apparently helped him a lot with trading, and then you reach out to that person and you get scammed. So don't fall for that, guys. If you see someone talking about a random person who has a Telegram channel and has been making people rich, it's not true. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's quite interesting how they start though. I don't know whether they've I'm not sure where they are, whether they're English speakers or not, but whether they've got something translated. But they all start with the same sort of strange way of speaking, like, "Oh my God, this was life changing for me," or something, and
exactly.
everyone's following the same pattern.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it
I
happens.
guess it's a common thing. So these days on social media, especially with crypto being so famous right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, I don't know if you get any news
Yeah.
on
So,
ADA.
well, one thing I just wanted to talk about is like, I definitely wanted to talk about how, it's, I think in general, it's going to become a lot easier for people mining Bitcoin to be able to mine. Considering that China's cracking down on Bitcoin miners across the country, mainly in the northern region of their country, like Xinjiang and the autonomous region, like the Mongolian region, the autonomous region, and the autonomous Uyghur region. And there's a lot of
Hmm.
mining going on there that is sourcing energy from coal and fossil fuels. And apparently, China wants to get rid of it. It's causing a lot of outages also in the process for them and causing them a lot of headaches. So apparently, they want to crack down and put a put a stop to the mining going on. But the bright side is that around 50% of the mining that happens in China is sourcing renewable energy. And China apparently doesn't have that much of a problem with the Bitcoin being mined using renewables. And guys, we know that 65% of the entire Bitcoin mining network is in China. China makes up 65% of the entire mining network. But
Yeah.
with all these um blocks on mining projects happening, a lot of these miners, there's Alejandro de Toro, who has a huge mining project in China. He said that he's probably going to leave. He's looking for the right time for his project to stop working in China, and basically he's said regions that he's looking for to move to is North America. Specifically, he said Texas. He mentioned Texas. So we got Texas in the U.S. We got the mayor of Miami who wants to turn his whole city into a Bitcoin capital, and we got the El Salvador president who says he wants to turn the volcano in the country into a source for Bitcoin miners to source energy from. So we got a lot of cool stuff, and I think that there's gonna be an interesting future for the Bitcoin mining network. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna get a lot easier. We saw when the outages happened in China, we saw the Bitcoin mining network difficulty drop 12.5% or 12.6%. And there's an article, this happened in like roughly April, or yeah, it was like April. And we have an article about it on our news site. And then recently the mining difficulty also dipped 6% again. So this is due to either the first time it happened, it was because the mining operations had to shut down because of all the outages happening in the country in the northern region in Xinjiang. So all these miners had to shut down, and the mining difficulty just dropped because there was less miners trying to mine. So you didn't have any
Yeah.
enough miners to compete with. So it's
Hmm.
easier for you to mine Bitcoin. Your miner has to work less hard to solve that math equation to facilitate the Bitcoin transaction. And
Yeah.
we're seeing that
Exactly.
same thing happen again. So it's a nice time to be a miner. I mean,
Yeah, and they say pretty clearly here on CNBC on this article, the hash rate falling off, right? And uh, it's a incentive as well for people to actually start mining. It's gonna get interesting because with the renewable energy things going on, um, I'm interested to see what countries are gonna do about it, because it can potentially be a lucrative thing for countries as well, right? For
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually investing in BTC and crypto mining, especially with renewable energy. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
And talking about Cardano, actually, I have something here. There's not much going on right now. One thing I saw today is that they are launching some cross-chain bridge to Nervos. So actually, if we can jump a little in this article,
Yeah.
they say here that public chain projects Nervos and Cardano say they plan to enable interoperability across their platforms within the next 6 weeks. The bridge furthers their goals of discovering the industry's Bluetooth moment. Nervos and IOHK, which is Charles Hoskinson. Um, so yeah, they're doing that. They also had their partnership with Orion Protocol lately,
Yeah.
and yeah, Cardano is doing really well so far. I would expect them to make some big things in the future, especially with the smart contract and stuff. But yeah,
That's
uh,
interesting. I
Yeah.
also, Charles Hoskinson, the guy who made Cardano, he was on Lex Friedman's podcast recently,
mhm.
and he actually said when he was talking about why people pick on him and why people pick on Cardano, he's I think he's a little bit of an emotional guy, but I think he's a funny guy, and he does a YouTube stream quite frequently, and he does like actually talk a lot about his personal relationships with people across the industry. He's talked about his relationship with Vitalik from Ethereum. He did a whole 4-hour stream talking about Vitalik from Ethereum. But aside from that, when he came on Lex's show, he said, when he was talking about Cardano, when he was talking about ADA, he said, I've always termed ADA as like a financial operating system and nobody likes. Everybody picks on me for using that term, but basically the idea is that the world runs on systems, especially the financial world. And then he said, you have the BIS and the Swift and all this other stuff. These protocols allow you to move around and represent things like identity, allowing you to express yourself in some way. And he did point out that these kind of protocols, they work well, but only for people for who are rich in rich countries. But what is there for somebody in like a country in Africa or in a country in like the Middle East or somewhere where there's really no basis of a financial system? There's not even probably a central bank. A
Yeah.
government doesn't even have a central bank. So how are they able to move digital? How are they able to move money around in aside from bringing barrels of cash around or gold and all that? And he does point out that Cardano, can fit that and assume that role for people in these kind of countries. It's a good system. The one thing I'll say is that um, Cardano, right before we saw this huge dump in the Bitcoin market, in the crypto market, we saw Cardano, which actually doesn't have any projects building on Cardano. Like there's not, we see stuff being built on Algorand and Ethereum. There's no question about it. And don't get me wrong, Cardano is a great project with a great team, and Charles Hoskinson is a genius for sure. And he was the co-founder of Ethereum also. But when we saw Bitcoin in the 50K range, and then we saw Cardano, which is a project that has there's no working projects based off of Cardano's blockchain yet that are actually functioning and actually out there and being adopted. But yet the Cardano market cap was over $40 billion. And then we saw Algorand with a market cap of $8 billion. And I think that was signaling a lot, in my opinion, because there are people in this crypto space that kind of make a name for themselves by getting themselves out there and making a name for themselves by talking a lot. But, you know, I personally think that projects like, don't get me wrong, I trade Cardano, I hold Cardano, but when we saw Cardano at 40 billion market cap, it was kind of because it was a storytelling driving that process. It was kind of a spoken word driving the process of Cardano reaching that high.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but other people have other things to say about that. But I just thought that was, for me, I was like, when I see Cardano at 40 billion market cap, and it's really doesn't have any working projects based off of Cardano's blockchain, this is kind of feeling like a bubble. And it felt like that bubble bursted eventually, and it did.
Yeah, I would like to wait and actually see what Cardano does in the future. Obviously, it's a work in progress, right? And it's really promising because of everything the concepts and the whole platform that they are building. So yeah, it's gonna interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do and what's gonna be built on the network. But yeah,
I agree. I can't wait to see what they do, and I hope they do great things because Charles Hoskinson is a genius, and I think he has a great idea. And Bitcoin and blockchain. Blockchain is going to be the basis for how everything is going to be run in the future. Whether it's you could name it, government infrastructure, record keeping in hospitals, or just say like when you have to let's talk about this because this is the future, right? Like people are like, why is blockchain the future? Well, we can talk about it right now. Well, when you unlock your iPhone, Apple is recognizing your facial recognition data and they're analyzing that and letting you unlock your iPhone with that. But now you're saying, okay, Apple has that data of the basically the code of what your face looks like, right?
Yeah.
Now, should Apple be allowed to have that data, or should they have to source it from a blockchain that is incorruptible and that a blockchain that you cannot abuse? You have to basically have a system working with that blockchain where every time you want to unlock somebody's iPhone or every time you want to verify your email address and you do it with your face or something or some kind of personal information, it should source that data from a blockchain. Or when you go to the hospital, your records should be kept on a blockchain because you don't want to get those records stolen from anybody. If somebody had your medical records, that's very dangerous. You don't want people to have your medical records. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
don't want people to have any records, really. But there we go. It's a different story.
This also enters in the global adoption, and that probably we're gonna see a lot of projects actually being adopted, and people not even knowing that they're using blockchain, right?
Yeah, they're not gonna even know. It's gonna happen. Like we're gonna have my mom's gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know Apple keeps all their records on blockchain now."
Well, she will when it takes her 10 minutes to open her phone.
Yeah, exactly.
The benefits are gonna be really great because decentralization is just too good of a concept.
It really is.
I
always say it, dude. I always say it. I'm quoting somebody when I say this, but literally, Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain is like a virus of your brain. Once you actually learn what it is, you cannot stop thinking about it. It's a virus for your brain. Once you learn what it is, you realize it's the future and you just won't stop thinking about it. And I think that people are going to realize that in the near future. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because there's so much you could do with that.
But yeah, man, I think that was all the news that we had for today.
Yeah, I think so. Should we have a quick look at what BTC is doing before we end up for today? And
Yep, sure. I have the 4-hour chart open here.
yeah,
And we are looking at our ranges here. It's looking a little bearish right now, to be honest. We had the previous two 4-hour candles actually being bearish. We tried to test and get above this middle range that I drew here. And if you guys remember, I said in the beginning of the video, this line that I have here is actually the 618 level from a Fibonacci retracement from this level, from the swing low, which is this one, to this swing high on the daily time frame, also over here. And so the 618 level is right at this area here, and it has a lot of confluence as well with this support here. And yeah, we seem to be getting rejected by it
Yes.
at this moment in time. So yeah, it's looking a little bearish right now, guys. I would be careful.
I'm seeing something very similar. I'll just throw my chart up real quick before we wrap this thing up, because I can kind of go off right what Groovy was saying. I'm seeing quite a bit of rejection on my end. So let me just get my chart open for you guys.
Yep, no problem.
All right. So as you can see, guys, I'm seeing something very similar. So this last 4-hour candle from June 24th or today, this last 4-hour candle is getting rejected from this red line. And this red line is actually a local support level from June 12th that we're getting rejected. And the thing to keep in mind is I made this Fibonacci retracement from this low right here on June 8th to this, from this low right here on June 8th to this high on June 12th. And once I made that retracement, it gave me the 618 fib level, which is this golden line, this yellow line. And that's also confluent with the support that we found on June 12th. So that 618 is also confluent with the resistance that we're seeing right now. So, and also if I turn back on my 21 day, the 21 day is right above it, and we just didn't even manage to break above this resistance. We saw it as support, for quite some time. We saw it as support 2 times in the last month, here on June 12th and here on June 19th. So it's possible that we can break above this. Judging by what I'm seeing for other markets, it seems like Ethereum is doing something interesting, and a lot of the alts are as well. And we were talking about how this could possibly be a W structure forming here on Bitcoin with this bear and this bottom.
Yeah.
But we are seeing some pullback, which is normal for these kind of price patterns. But we got to wait and see, guys, because we're according to Ichimoku, we're still under the Ichimoku cloud. As you can see, guys, this Ichimoku ribbon, I did not even catch that earlier. The top of this Ichimoku ribbon is also perfectly confluent with the 618 of that Fibonacci retracement and that support level June 12th. So that crypto, that Ichimoku ribbon is confluent with those lines too. So it seems like we're seeing a lot of resistance there. But if we can manage to break out, we might see something very interesting. So just something to keep our eye on.
Yep, guys. As always, be very safe out there. It's looking a little bearish right now, but there's fear on the market, so it's only natural for us to be a little bearish.
Yeah, it's crazy times.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. As we know, it can all change in 24 hours and be doing the exact opposite thing and then change again. So I think pretty much, that's it for today. Do you guys have anything else you want to add, or are we happy to say goodbye and reconvene tomorrow?
We'll talk more about the fire-breathing dragon in the next streams, but
yeah, guys, as always, if you want to learn more about the fire-breathing dragon, you can come into the Discord and talk to the man himself, man.
Yes.
As always.
Yes, we give you his contact details. You can direct all questions to fire-breathing dragons to this man here. And he'll be able to talk to you for a very long time about dragons.
I could talk to you all day about the 5-breathing dragon.
Yes, you can, and we can confirm that has happened as well. So,
but yeah, guys, I just wanted to thank you guys once again. Thank you for everyone who watched the stream today. I'm very glad to be here. I hope we were able to help you guys and give you guys some useful information about the market, because that's what we are here for. And yeah, just thank you guys again from me. And yeah.
And thank you guys for commenting. Let me alone. We love you, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
All of our community members who popped in and said hello. So
no worries then. So we will catch you at the same time tomorrow, roughly.
Yes.
See you soon.
Tomorrow, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.